So in this video, I'm going to sketch these three linear functions using the second method. If you only want to see how I sketch one of these, I've put timestamps in the description below, so please use them. So let's begin. So let's sketch this first one. Y is equal to 6x minus 7. So you can see m is equal to 6, so m is greater than 0. So you know we'll have a positive gradient. Then m or c is equal to negative 7, so c is less than 0. So you know the linear function will cut the y-axis where y is negative. So I'm using, for the m and the c, I'm using the general form y is equal to mx plus c. So that's where the m and the c come from. So for the second method, we need 2 points. We need one point where x is equal to 0, and the second point will be where y is equal to 0. So setting x equal to 0, we get y is equal to 6 multiplied by 0 minus 7, so y is equal to minus 7. So our first point is the point 0 minus 7, which is this one here. So I'll just put a dot there. Then for our second point, we set y equal to 0. So y equal to 0, so that means 0 is equal to 6x minus 7. So 6x is equal to 7. So that means x is equal to 7 divided by 6. So our second point is the point 7 divided by 6, 0. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. So 7 divided by 6 is just a little bit bigger than 1. So I'm going to put my point there, and I'm just going to label it. So I'm going to say this is 7 divided by 6, 0. Now we just connect the dots. So you usually use a ruler for that. So in the exam or test, please use a ruler. And there our function is drawn. So you can see here in GeoGebra, 6x minus 7. So you can see here's our point where the function cuts the y-axis, 0 minus 7. And here you can see b is 7 divided by 6, 0. So that's the 2 points that we needed for this method. So now I'm going to draw the second one. So the second one is minus 3x plus 13. So let's begin. So we need 2 points. We need one where x is equal to 0 and one where y is equal to 0. So the first one is quite easy, x equal to 0. So y is equal to minus 3, 0 plus 13. So y is equal to 13. So our first point is 0, 13. So now to draw that in, we go to 0 and 13 there. So now for our second point, we set y equal to 0. So y is equal to 0. Then we have the following equation to solve. Then, so that means 3x is equal to 13. So that means x is equal to 13 divided by 3. So our point is 13 divided by 3, 0. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 13 divided by 3 is just a bit bigger than 4. So it's about there. Now I'm just going to label the point because you can't really see what the point is. And I would suggest to label all your points because maybe they'll give a mark for labeling your points. And here you can clearly see you can easily see that the point is between 4 and 5, but you can't see the exact value. So it's better to label it, because then you can clearly see if you come back to it, or you looking at somebody else's graph, then you can clearly see that point there is where x is equal to 13 divided by 3. And we always put the arrows on because this function keeps on forever in this direction here, and it also keeps on forever in this direction here. It just doesn't stop here. So that's why we put the arrows on the graph. So here in GeoGebra, you can see the function y is equal to minus 3x plus 13. And you can see here our point where it cuts the y-axis is 0, 13. And where it cuts the x-axis is the point B, 13 divided by 3, 0. So if we have x is equal to 0, that will be the point where y cuts the y-axis. And that will always be the point 0, C, where C is like the form above here, the plus C. So the minus 7 and the plus 13. So 0, 13, 0, minus 7. And then when y is equal to 0, that will be the point where y cuts the x-axis. So with this method, you're just actually getting the points that cut the axes. So let's draw the third function. So we need a point where x is equal to 0, and then a point where y is equal to 0. So the first one is quite easy, x equal to 0, so that means y is equal to 1 divided by 12 times 0 plus 3. So y is equal to 3, so that means that the point is 0, 3. Then we set y equal to 0, so that means that 0 is equal to 1 divided by 12 times x plus 3. So that means minus 3 is equal to 1 divided by 12x. So x is equal to minus 36. So our second point is minus 36, 0. So now we can draw in the points. We have the point 0, 3. So 0, 3 is the point there. And then minus 36, 0 is here. So now we just connect the dots. And remember the arrows. So here in GeoGebra, you can see here where it cuts the x-axis is the point minus 36, 0. And here where it cuts the y-axis is the point 0, 3. So thank you guys for watching. And if you have any comments or any graphs that you want me to draw, please let me know in the comments below, and please consider subscribing.